Hello and welcome to the Retail Journey. Today we're going to be talking about Walmart Luminate, what it means for you as a supplier or someone at Walmart, what's coming, and how this new approach to data that we were told at the Walmart Growth Forum is the currency for doing business with Walmart will change the way you understand your business and how you run it. I'm Charles Greathouse and I'm one of the hosts of the Retail Journey, but today I won't be playing that role.
I am James Harris, the other host of the Retail Journey. We thank you for joining us, and we are here to talk about all things retail with a special focus on Walmart and being the guide along that journey for you, our listeners, within the world of retail and Walmart. So, Charles, how you doing today?
Man, I'm better than I deserve. Not a doubt about it.
Excellent. All right, we're here to talk about Luminate. We couldn't find anybody else to fill in on the Luminate topic, so we're stuck with you. You just happen to be the person that brought Luminate into existence.
Yeah, I would like to be clear. It is Walmart Luminate.
Walmart Luminate.
And I was part of a team. It's the old team effort. But yeah, have a pretty unique point of view when it comes to bringing something like data monetization to life at the world's largest retailer.
Absolutely, yeah. And you were one of the team that brought Luminate about. Totally joking about that before. Okay. There's not many other people that are better suited to speak to this topic. So tell us, what was, from a business standpoint for Walmart, what was their desire in trying to create a data monetization program? Yeah,
I mean, I remember pretty clearly. It was April, and I got a phone call from my boss of like, hey, you've been selected for a special project. It's like, oh, cool. What's the project? He said, data monetization. It's like, that feels like a big project.
Yeah.
And on Monday, I got into the executive offices, and they were like, no, Charles, this is your full-time job now. I think they called it a full-time effort.
Oh, you thought it was going to be on the side.
I wasn't sure. It was a special project at the time. And me and my co-leader, Mihir Rajopadhyay, were tasked by the then leadership team of Walmart US to go figure out how Walmart US should monetize its data. It was a greenfield exercise of figuring out, all right, where and how can this be used to maximize shared value creation. So I'm no longer at Walmart, but as a part of the team there, a big focus is always on helping customers save money and live better. And so when it comes to using data to improve that mission, there are several ways we could potentially put it to work. And we named that group Data Ventures. The thought process was a venture capital firm has an asset base that they deploy to create or enable the creation of meaningful value in return. For Walmart, that asset base for our team was data. And so we are going to deploy the data to create or enable the creation of meaningful value in return for Walmart, its partners, our customers, and our stakeholders. And it was a really exciting journey. So the focus was very noble. At the time, there were a handful of folks saying, why not just pull the data away and then make people pay for it? Certainly a fast path to getting revenue, but not revenue that would likely be very incremental.
It's been done before.
It has been done. And so that was an analogy that was used often to make sure, hey, we're not just trying to do something in a fixed mindset. We're thinking of it as an investment mindset of how do we create more value than would have existed otherwise. And the focus was on empowering better decision-making with Walmart's partners.
So just being devil's advocate, the one could say conceivably the value for Walmart is that they're now selling for something that was free, or charging for something that was once free. What's the benefit to the supplier?
Yeah, for sure. And just to reiterate, I do not work for Walmart, and my opinions are my own, and I'm not speaking on behalf of Walmart. But for Walmart Luminate, what's the value to suppliers? That's something I'm pretty proud of. This isn't data that was available. It wasn't data that was available to the merchants, let alone the suppliers. We've got a couple different aspects of Walmart Luminate that we're going to talk about today. There are 3 core products that are available in this initial launch, and it's shopper behavior, channel performance, and customer perception. Those are the 3 products that make up Walmart Luminate today. Channel performance gives you all sorts of data about every single channel that Walmart plays in and how Walmart, your own products, are selling across Walmart. Shopper behavior looks at customer data over time, so you can really understand how customers are evolving. And customer perception gets into primary research in the context of a customer's actual purchase history. It's this double opt-in community, and they answer questions, they take surveys, and you see purchase history, so you know what they're actually buying and their opinion about what they're buying. And it's a very, very powerful primary research tool. And so those 3 products are what are available today compared to DSS. DSS is just POS data. So there's a significant incremental exposure to both insight, data, technology, the platform, the data schema is way more advanced than what was available today. So as a supplier, you now get to tap into something that is far more capable than what was there before. And to the team, that was critical. We don't want someone paying for something that is the same, but fenced off behind a paywall. We want it to be something that is significantly better. And I'm pretty excited to see almost everything we've seen so far is hitting against that. It's way more valuable, even with the fee, than what would have been available before with DSS.
So what are some of I'm assuming you had internal users of Walmart Luminate before it was rolled out to suppliers. What were some of the initial big wins that showed you within the company and the company at large that this is where we're going, this is great?
Yeah, totally. So I'm a merchant at heart. I love buying. That was super fun. Probably one of my favorite jobs. And it comes back to ashwagandha for me.
Okay.
So I was buying vitamins at the time, and we had some data science that showed substitutability. This is not Walmart Luminate data. This was the assortment discipline process data. And it was a very good algorithm, but it could get tricked by certain buying behaviors. And so the data showed that the customer who's buying ashwagandha also buys, tart cherry extract, hawthorn berries, turmeric, and that any of these are substitutes for ashwagandha. And for the herbal nut, like me, you know that those aren't substitutes. Those are just other things that you might have in your herbal supplement regimen. And so as a vitamin buyer, I'm looking at,
Yeah, they treat totally different things, right?
Totally different. So $4 per store per week. How are you supposed to assess just $4 versus just $4? Or do I double dip on another vitamin C and have another $40 per store per week SKU? Or how do I convince, my leadership team to hold on to this just $4 per store per week, but this customer buys all these other things? And so I was very excited about the capabilities that shopper behavior brought, which shows customer traced behavior. So you're able to now see that the customer buying ashwagandha didn't buy vitamins at Walmart until we carried ashwagandha and carried it in, non-GMO and effective formulation, because the formulation team that does Spring Valley is incredible. Shout out Viral Shah. Guy's a hero. And the team's incredible. So the formulations are good. Therefore, customers are buying it that weren't buying vitamins with Walmart. And instead of it being substitutable, it's an incremental purchase to the category. And understanding that is one of the magical places that shopper behavior takes you. My favorite early stage example was a hair care example. So we were working with the hair care merchant at the time, and they had a small brand that was not doing the $1 per store per week that they expected, and it was on its way to being full chain deleted. And they were one of our early adopter merchants. So we were working with them, showing them the shopper behavior data that showed this brand was more than 90% incremental to the category. Said another way, the people buying that brand weren't buying their hair care
category at all
products at Walmart. And because of that brand, they were now buying in that category. So she made a different and right decision to hold on to it, because also with this data was repeat purchase rate. So you were seeing that repeat purchase rates were both good and steadily improving over time. And
So you only brought in a new consumer, you kept them in the
you
category
kept
with this
them,
brand.
and so as you add new customers to the brand, you're keeping the old ones and adding the new ones, and so that lower performance was over time going to improve.
Yeah.
And that kind of signal saved the brand. It's still at Walmart. And so that's the kind of thing I love seeing. I love seeing an emerging brand be able to use data to stake the claim for how, hey, I'm connecting with this consumer. It's a consumer you care about, and a consumer that's going to help your category grow, as opposed to just expanding another item, because the shelf space in hair care is incredibly competitive. But now there's a light that shows, all right, this is someone that's going to keep coming, and it's worth keeping on the shelf.
Yeah, and to what you said before, dollars per store per week tells you something, but it doesn't tell you everything, and it doesn't tell you who's buying it. So one thing that Retail Link users are used to seeing are what we've come to know as Walmart demographics. Mm-hmm. So that's essentially the various demographics that align with individual stores, typically based on census data. I understand that doesn't exist as it used to in Luminate, but that you get even more of a customer cohort. Can you talk about those cohorts and what that gives to the analyst or to the business manager?
Yeah, I like it. So the DSS data in Retail Link, when you could see store traits, those are actually self-selected. And so there's a wide array of what you'll see for a particular store. It could even change from being an Hispanic traded store to not Hispanic traded store. And the reality of who's shopping there might not have very much to do with it. It's what the store decided they wanted to see or what they wanted to have.
So whether we were using it this way or not, it was directional.
Totally,
at best. Okay.
Totally. Very, very broad stroke. And with what shopper behavior brings, I think is where you're going with customer cohorts, is you're able to see who's buying it. It's not looking at demographics, because demographics is an analogy when you don't have an actual understanding of real purchase behavior. Mm-hmm. This is a topic I have gotten a lot of grief on because I was certainly part of the team at the time when we made some of these calls. So there isn't demographic data available today in shopper behavior. You have something better. That's not an analogy. It's actual shopper behavior, aggregated and anonymized. Just want to say that from make sure I'm very clear. This is aggregated and anonymized data.
No big brother. Right.
But it's real behavior over time. So someone who has bought your item and bought another and then later came back and bought it, you don't need the analogy of their race or how big their house might be or which community they live in. It matters more about how they purchase.
What are they buying? When are they buying it? What are they buying with it?
Totally. And it was a challenge within vitamins, as an example. I had challenges of like, there's no way this store will sell these herbs. And the reality is the wellness consumer, it's got a lot less to do with their income, a lot more to do with how they engage with taking care of their body and what their connection is to what they're putting into their body. And some people spend an enormous percentage of their income on things for wellness, and others spend almost nothing.
And I'm sure that's true in most categories.
Yeah. And so it's helpful to
So we've been working with
analogy.
stereotypes. Now we're working with actual consumer data.
No doubt. And to tell the stories that are going to change decisions is the key. We mentioned in the intro, the currency for doing business with Walmart is Walmart Luminate. And they went on at the Growth Forum to talk about how to use it and where it shows up and some of the key features, told a couple of success stories. They're difficult to give at broad analogies because each of the stories that are told end up being very impactful for the brand and very impactful for the specific situation that may or may not apply to you, because you need to understand your customer, what's helping your brand grow, where and how you're leaking customers, and which of your tactics are working to bring more customers into your brand.
Yeah.
This is the type of analysis that the largest firms have tried to do with sample sets and panels in the past, and now you
Focus
have it
groups.
Across the enormous Walmart customer database, which is the largest customer trace database, I believe, on the planet. At least it was at one point.
Yeah. I mean, just in the U.S., there's 330 million, 350 million citizens.
Yeah.
What percentage shops at Walmart's? Over 90% every year.
So it's is certainly a deep database, not just for food and consumables. There are a lot of GM use cases, and the Walmart team. I'm excited to see how they've unlocked that for folks.
Yeah. So we've kind of dug into the details there. Let's back it up a little bit.
Yeah.
From both your perspective, when you were at Walmart and now outside, what are some of the biggest challenges that companies have faced in integrating and using this data in their businesses?
I mean, DSS is awesome, right? We love DSS. You know how to spell warehouse, right? No? Because it's WHSE. You spell it any other way, you're not getting warehouse data. It's WHSE. And
that's it.
And DSS has its quirks. Love it. But you've had it for 30 years.
Right. We've come to think it's actual own real language, and
no
it's
doubt.
just not.
And it hasn't changed in 30 years. Walmart Luminate has changed every month since it's existed. That dynamic is like tectonic for a lot of folks who are used to looking at it one way. They know exactly what it's going to do, whether it's got quirks or not. My favorite, I used to teach the Retail Link training to all of the incoming merchants, and the trap was like, hey, why is inventory flat? I don't know why my inventory year over year looks the same. Did you pull current inventory? And one of the traps in DSS is if you pull current inventory and pull it for 4 time periods, it gives you the same number plugged into 4 different time periods, which is a quirk we've all figured out. And that's not how Walmart Luminate works. It's not how the channel performance data works, because the data scheme is brilliant and the way it's delivered is efficient, but it is totally different.
Yeah.
You've got multiple tables to join in the back end, and to pay attention to changes. Columns are being added as they add new features and new capabilities. Columns are being deleted as fields are able to be joined and combined elsewhere. And that all doesn't have to be terrifying if you know how to use that. And if you don't, right, it's going to take a while for you to figure it out. And
each new addition should add to our ability to manage our business, right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. I mean, the dynamic, as I see it, this is the opinion of Charles. Well, you look at large firms are paying Walmart, let's just call it a large sum, to have access to this incredible resource that is Walmart Luminate. And as they want changes to be made, the changes are being made because they're paying customers.
Right.
DSS, we didn't pay anything. Nobody paid for DSS. And so it was free. So if you wanted changes, it was like, that's super neat. We'll look into that.
Yeah, you had to sign a petition or.
Well, nobody was resourced to change it, and it just
right,
didn't change. And so now you've got this element of both change and a significant advancement in what it's able to do. And so onboarding something like that into a system that's very used to looking at it one way, mm-hmm, change management is going to be a huge element of the adoption curve. I think, and the precision in which you can operate is the other one. With DSS, you kind of knew how long things would take to pull back. If you're pulling back a market basket report, it's going to take a long time. Mm-hmm. Like it just is. You do store summary, and you got just a couple data points. It's going to come back quickly. It does help if you hit refresh. It doesn't get there faster, but it feels better because you hit
gives
refresh,
you something to do, something you can do.
That totally helps. So the DSS data comes back quickly. If within channel performance, if you have the API, it's a REST API, which means when the data is available, it's landed in your environment. That's a game changer. They've got some really cool capabilities with channel. With shopper behavior, the CustomerCentric one, those data pulls are scouring through an absolutely astronomical database. And I had 2 distinct experiences on the Walmart Luminate side. People who understood the database and people who didn't. People who understood it, like, round of applause, got a golf clap, pat on the back. Like, I can't believe how fast these queries are. You guys are tapping an enormous database. I'm like, I know, right? It's crazy. People who don't understand it, like, why is it taking 4 hours for this report to come back? And it's like, yeah, it's a long time. The database is very large.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot for it to go through. And so part of that change, as you start using these reports, takes a lot longer to pull back. And so if you're not pulling the thing that you actually need back, you have to wait 4 hours to realize you did it wrong, or less. It may be faster. That's a Charles number, not a Walmart number. Sure, it's faster.
Well, and I'm sure the data set itself matters.
There's a lot of ways to make it go faster for you. And so that's certainly one of the areas of like take a certain sample. There's a few boxes you can uncheck within shopper behavior to make sure that you're not carrying an extra load while you're testing whether or not your question's going to be answered the way you expect it to be answered. Either way, that guess and check that we did with DSS, everybody did as you're trying to figure out DSS, is way more expensive from a time standpoint with shopper behavior. And because you're paying for it while you're learning, it can be difficult to watch, hey, I'm paying to get value out of something and I'm learning how not to use it, but still paying for the value of it. So
training could be a major need in the
training's super useful.
Community.
And I think some augmentation, if you can have someone alongside you that knows exactly what to do, that's been super helpful. We've got a couple of clients that are really happy with how we've been able to come alongside, help them get value from it. But those are key areas of change, both from a back-end data standpoint and then how you actually approach using it. That's going to create a significant amount of change. Change curve is bending here at Walmart. I think we've all felt it. Been excited about it. Drones are not just a fake thing; it's a real thing, and
right.
They're working. Really excited about some of those advancements Walmart has made and how they're serving customers. And now we, as suppliers and partners, are able to change with Walmart, hopefully at the pace of the customer, so we can continue to stay ahead.
So change is the permanent fixture here, and we could talk about change management in a lot of different perspectives, but let's maybe drill in a little bit here. Say you're a Walmart analyst, Walmart sales manager, a salesperson. You're accustomed to decision support. You've had the same report set for the last 15, 20 years. Yes, there's change that's going to be required here, and some will make the leap, some might not. Some might decide that's where they want to hang their hat with on DSS when it goes out the door. But for the rest of us that are staying in it, what's new and unique and good about Luminate, special about Luminate, what can it bring to an analyst or salesperson in their current role today that motivates them to really get behind it?
Yeah. First, I'd like to speak directly to the sales managers and analysts and apologize for my years as a merchant not responding to your emails. I'm really sorry. At the time, it felt like I had to prioritize. I can't answer all these emails.
I forgive you.
I'm so sorry. And on behalf of the other merchants who are not responding to your email, there's just a lot of things coming through. Sometimes no news is no news. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But I'm sorry. Email me. I will respond. Eventually.
Excellent.
Okay.
Eventually.
So on the new and different, the things you should be excited about as an analyst or as a salesperson. First, to the analyst, the kind of precision you can bring to the great debate with your replenishment manager for where and how to make a change on forecast. Within channel performance, you have visibility to the forecast in ways that you have never had visibility to, if you've unlocked the data. And to be fair, in channel performance with the API, there are billions of rows of data.
Not millions.
I forget which one of those had to be, but billions of rows of data available to you so that you can see the different variations of forecasts that are being considered by the demand manager so that you can actively help engage and project where each item is going, where it's going to change, which changes will have the most impact. And with that, you can make real precise recommendations that are way more likely to be accepted because you can speak the exact same language.
Because we've never been able to go to a replenishment manager and say, forecast is 100 and it needs to be 50. We would have to say, forecast needs to go down by 50% or up by 50%.
Totally.
And is it more of those components of the forecast that we'd have visibility to now?
I mean, the algorithm speaks in sequences, and there's a few different sequences that you can choose from, and you can speak to art. If you go to sequence 8 for this item, it's got the best profile for what's coming ahead. And you can speak the language that's actually necessary to make the change. And so that's very powerful. They're going to love that. The other one is OPD data, online pickup and delivery. You've been watching it grow as a percentage of sales. You've had some visibility Today, you don't know if you're getting a ship from store or an in-store sale. Now you get to see it was shipped from store. Someone bought that online and it happened to be fulfilled by the store. That changes what needs to be in store, how you approach the category. The other one is nil picks. In, again, channel performance, you can see where customer bought your item and the picker went to go get it, didn't find it. And so they either substituted or they didn't get it. So that's a sale that you should be getting. And making sure there's inventory in place. So
you'll not only know when you missed a sale, you'll know what was substituted for you.
Yeah. Or if you were the substitute.
Or if you were the substitutee. Yeah.
Buddy old pal, product out of stock, happy to take that sale. So that's super helpful as a sales analyst. As a sales leader, I get really excited about the shopper behavior data. One of the products within shopper behavior is called Assortment Deep Dive. And it goes into a customer-centric customer decision tree. So here's how customers are looking at the data, not looking at the data, how they look at the category, where they make the purchase decisions. And here's what, if I could only have 50 items in a category, here's the 50 that represent the most customer need states. So a customer first ad order is a very powerful tool into a sales discussion. In fact, you can run it over and over again and look at your category and understand, hey, this is maybe within your own assortment. Here's some items that I should probably look at culling. I am not seeing a lot of customer loyalty to this product, even within my own portfolio, and I might self-select something to tee up to the merchant as something that would go away. Or if you've got competitors that happen to have products that are not as well positioned as yours, you can tell the story with great precision on where your products are better meet customer demand than what might be in, call it, larger distribution. There's still a lot of art. Merchandising's got art and science. There's still art involved, and it isn't the end all be all. There's a couple of metrics you're not going to see. There's no margin in shopper behavior. It's all focused on observable shopper behaviors in a store that show up in this awesome tool. And with that data, you can tell the story of incrementality and where your assortment is really singing, and where you have products that need to be expanded. And that to me is very exciting because it's data-driven, and it's not just data-driven, it's the same as what Walmart sees. Like, you don't have to debate if the number's true or not. Walmart can see the exact same data because it is the same data platform. And that helps you stop wasting time debating numbers.
Right. And should solve a number of competing proposals being made to a merchant that come to different conclusions. There should be a final say, per se. Is that it? Well,
you're going to have to take some art. You got to sprinkle a little art dust in there every once in a while. But it is defensible from a data perspective. And, the merchant always has the right to see something around the corner that they're going to chase that the data might not suggest when it's currently being looked at. But I have always said, if you torture the data long enough, it'll tell you what you want to say, what you want to hear. And as a merchant, I saw data that was tortured. Yeah. Like, okay, I see how you think I might only pay attention to this small, but when you zoom out a smidge, you can tell this isn't something that should happen. Yeah. So it'll be easier to spot the terribly tortured data. And for all of us, that's a win. Because trying to grow a business on a foundation that's not built on customer growth and solving a problem that customers need about is a shaky foundation.
Yeah, and data doesn't lie. It's analysts that lie or have the potential to. So really the message for Luminate to me is it's less about something that happened at a historical time and place and more about who did it, what else they're doing, what can we learn about that shopper. So when you talk about the decision tree, the consumer decision tree, it's not just highest velocity per se.
Totally.
That plays a part, I'm sure. But it's what were the needs bringing the consumer into the category in the first place, which really opens up a lot of doors to, say, a category management group or a category management team.
The data science is incredible there, and the substitutability and what actually replaces that need on the shelf and how to get to the best assortment. It's been proven over and over again. I think the stat's something like 2% growth for every category that's using this as like a foundational methodology, at least over time and through areas. You got some that are way better, some that are probably going to fall short, but man, 200 basis points will sing.
Absolutely.
On a base like Walmart.
Absolutely. So it does seem like category teams are the most equipped right now to start working with, particularly the shopper behavior
Category
data.
management, like category advisor, those guys.
Category team, category management advisor, and maybe the sales teams on some of the companies that have purchased Luminate are struggling to realize the same amount of value. What are some of the distinctions that you've noticed, if you have, on companies that have been able to bring Walmart Luminate into both category and sales and really start to drive their business with it?
Yeah, no doubt. So the category advisors, their typical relationship with Walmart is looking at the whole category and having a very confidential conversation with the merchant about driving non-biased to their brand category growth. The theory being, hey, if you can grow the category, if your brands are there and positioned well, your brands are going to grow, so it's worth investing in. So category advisors are used to looking at the full category. They also typically are the ones that get a little bit further into customer-centric data. And so they're used to it straight away. The sales team is used to being told not to look at the full category because that's just category advisor. There's walls between them. They cannot share that data. Well, with shopper behavior, it's full category transparency. If you've paid for it and you're in the category, you see every item in the category.
And
store item day.
Everybody on the Walmart team and leadership has the right to see that data once you purchase it.
With the supplier.
The supplier, yeah.
You as a supplier have access to that, and everybody who's not working directly on a competitor. So your headquarter team, your Walmart support and sales team, of course the category team, will be able to see this full category transparency, trace tender data in shopper behavior. And it's a very powerful tool. It takes a significant amount of change for the sales team to start using these insights that are typically reserved for a private, advisor-only conversation because it's not advisor-only. But it is very powerful for you to be able to speak with confidence directly to the actual sales situation that's happening in your category as you pursue category growth on behalf of your brands with your merchant.
Yeah, and really it kind of goes back when you think about category advisory, we'll call it that, from a Walmart perspective, and Target adopted it pretty quickly after, where there's the firewall. Category and sales, they might report to the same division head, but they can't talk, they can't share data, they can't do whatever. With most CPGs, there is a category management group apart from Walmart and Target that are responsible for looking at the target and speaking into the brand and the sales team on how to grow your business from overall category perspectives. Their biggest tools up to this point have been syndicated data and panel and those sorts of things. Those companies would be really well poised, I would think, to be able to start inculcating this into their overall category management. The opportunity, to me, seems more the smaller companies that don't have those groups within their company that essentially is kind of democratized data. The smallest player in a category now has the exact same category perspective on the data if they subscribe to this. You shared the story about the hair care company, the hair care brand that is in stores now because it showed they were 90% incremental to the category. You have any other examples there of where it either kept from deletion, it was the deciding factor in an item remaining in the assortment, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, the stories, they keep coming kind of left and right. We could be here all night talking through stories of how it's actually used and where people are finding success. I think the smaller brands, it is a huge opportunity to be an equalized player, not just reserved for the largest firms, but you have to know how to use it. And it takes a different way of looking at data. I think that's an area where I'm excited, where we'll be able to help.
Yeah.
For Walmart Luminate, there's so many different corners to go into. We've talked quite a bit about shopper behavior, and there's some very key and large success stories there. With channel performance, some of the earliest wins were paying close attention to your nil picks. and putting dollars and cents to the size of prize for whether it's $100,000 a week you're missing from customers trying to buy your product that aren't able to see it, or you didn't know that it wasn't available online, or wasn't
and it
showing.
isn't supposed to just be on the shelf. Most or a lot of the products that are picked for delivery and pickup, they can come out of the back room too. So it's a different type of inventory management that we're dealing with today.
And you're not used to, from a Walmart standpoint, the pickers happen early in the morning, and that's not how customers usually shop. So they shop out online at night, and it gets drawn from the store in the morning. And there's a lot of value to be had in understanding the situation of your data, of your products as revealed through the data in the store all day, every day. And I'm excited for people to start really using it and understanding all the ways that it can add value.
Absolutely. So right now, Luminate is it's a voluntary system, right? You can choose to
Walmart Luminate.
Engage with Walmart Luminate. I'm sorry. You can choose to engage with it. There's a price associated. There's still free data and decision support. As long as that exists, there's an argument to be had for whether the investment's there to be made or should be made. What's the motivation? What's the benefit to being an early adopter?
Yeah, no doubt. DSS has been around for a long time and is well past its shelf life, kind of like the Walmart home office. So they're building a new home office campus, and I have a hard time believing that DSS will be a part of the new home office campus, which is rapidly being built. I think that analogy works. It's probably faster because moving data bytes is faster than building an entire campus from nothing.
Right.
The first mover advantage is gone to the first movers. The early mover, I think once you wait until you don't have an option, you are no longer in control of your story.
You're in the same boat everybody else is.
And when you're focused on category growth, I wouldn't want to tell a merchant that, hey, I'd like to wait. I'd like to delay growing the category as long as possible. I want to wait until it's absolutely necessary for me to grow that category with data. And so I would tell people, as soon as you're able to, get in a conversation with Walmart Luminate. They've got a great team that are able to talk you through what it would mean for you, your brand, your company, to be able to be a part of it. Again, we are not part of Walmart.
Right.
Not paid to sell Walmart Luminate whatsoever. I happen to know it really well as one of the founding members and know that it's very powerful, and waiting is just a bad strategy if you want to be a part of shaping the success of your category. And if you want to be someone your merchant looks to understand how customers are moving, then this data set is very powerful. If you want to understand how your business is performing across all channels, this is the currency. This is what the merchants are looking at. And it's how it will do for the business. I expect it to do for the business what DSS did for Walmart.
And it was revolutionary. Revolutionary.
It's the only reason. I think it's the core reason why Walmart was able to spread grocery retail coast to coast, and no one else did, because no one else was sharing the data in the same way. Now they're sharing even more data. You got to pay for it.
Yeah.
But they're sharing more data with Walmart Luminate, and it will change the way you serve customers across these channels. And so it's difficult to stomach paying for something that you've never paid for.
Right.
Get in the mindset of, all right, here is a new data set that I'm able to buy, and look at the value that it means for your business.
That happens to have some data that I used to get for free, but much more in addition to that.
Comparison is a thief of joy. You know?
There you go.
Is that Teddy? I forget where that quote comes from. But try not to dwell on that and just focus on the reality of this is powerful data to help you grow your business on a powerful platform that is Walmart.
Yeah, absolutely. Any parting final thoughts on Luminate before we go to our lightning round to learn a little bit more about Charles?
Oh, let's go. We get a lightning round?
Yes, sir.
So parting thoughts on Walmart Luminate. It's Walmart Luminate. That's what it's called. Not Luminate. Walmart Luminate. That was something I got to repeat a lot, so I'm going to keep repeating it. As part of my time at Walmart.
You're better at it than I am.
No doubt. But it is powerful, like any tool, to the ones that know how to use it. And if I were you, I'd want to get on board learning how to use it as quickly as possible and pull every resource available to me so that I can be an expert at this. The analogy I like is what Walmart tried, something called Data Cafe. It didn't stick. And it, for a somewhat similar reason, it was access to a tremendous amount of data, and it was called Data Cafe. And it's great if you're a barista. As someone who pays baristas to make coffee for me, I'm a great patron of a coffee shop or of a data cafe. But having no idea how to build the right things, I made a terrible barista. And the change curve here is going to require some very good baristas, data baristas, if you would.
Baristas.
And if you don't have one, you need to get one or two, or bring on some help so that you can train some at your firm, so that you know how to use this data long term. And continue to build with a platform that is unlike any other at helping customers and has built an enormous amount of trust with customers across omni-channel retail.
Absolutely. All right. So lightning round. We'll ask these questions or we'll ask questions each week or each month of the people we interview. Since this is Charles' second time to kind of be behind the mic here, being asked the questions, we're going to go with the second appearance lightning round. So Charles, what is on your playlist?
My playlist, the new album by NF came out this past week called Hope. I've thoroughly enjoyed listening to that.
Awesome.
A lot of Christian rap in my life.
Christian rap. All right. A little Lecrae.
Oh yeah, he's up in there.
He's in there. All right. Your biggest retail blunder.
Oh geez.
So you bought for a lot of years. I
did.
assume it would come out of there.
Yeah, so the worst one, I think, was a neighborhood market mod. And if you're familiar with neighborhood markets, at the time, getting a shelf into a neighborhood market was an absolute act of Congress. I had a new category advisor. I'm not passing the blame. I'm the buyer. It's my fault. But we drew mods and ignored the before and after shelf count. And so I sent a modular into stores that required 2 extra shelves out of every neighborhood market. They don't have extra shelves. And I got a phone call from the then executive vice president of neighborhood markets, wondering what in the world I thought they were going to do without a shelf, Charles. And I got to solve that problem about all night, redrawing mods in JDA.
Nice. And coming from a former buyer of the year, that's a fun little nugget to have.
So the fun story right there is like, work is not a place to get your identity, because that happened the night before I got buyer of the year.
No kidding.
I wasn't trying to humble brag. So all night I'm like I'm the worst merchant ever. And the next day I'm half asleep at an award show and my name gets called for buyer of the year.
That's like, even more amazing.
My goodness.
That's awesome. All right, last question. So you're a biker. What are your favorite trails or rides in the area?
I enjoy mountain biking way more than road, because there are teenagers on the road and they have phones. Can't be trusted. I really like Kohler. Rock Soft and Rock Solid are 2 of my favorite trails.
Beautiful area.
And love it. Also the stuff over at Handcut Hollow, if you haven't been. So next time you come to Bentonville, you should mountain bike. It's incredible.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Charles.
Yeah. Thanks, James.
All right. And thank you all for listening. We'll be back here in a few weeks with our next podcast being on the merchant mindset, understanding more about the merchant mindset so that we can bring our selling propositions to the merchant with the same understanding that they have of trying to grow their overall category and business. And feel free to join us every 3rd Thursday of the month at the Natural State Brewery. Where we'll have a happy hour and talk about the retail journey.
Let's go.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll see you next time.